Something is happening deep in the forests of North America.
They found signs of a struggle and drag marks leading away from his campsite. They closed the campsite as they worked to find the bear.
Campers are being attacked where no one ever thought bears would strike.
This bear had probably had a few meals, in that campground.
Trails that were once safe are now closed. Towns that haven't seen a bear in over 100 years are suddenly getting visits.
And this comes less than a month after another deadly bear attack in Franklin County.
It's not just one story or one place. It's happening from Arkansas to Yellowstone, from small towns in Texas to the mountains of Europe. And the question everyone's asking is the same. Are we just hearing more about bear attacks, or is something much bigger changing in the wild?
That was the first recorded one in Arkansas since 1892.
In the fall of 2025, a story out of Arkansas shocked the country. A black bear killed a camper near Sam's Throne, a popular spot for hikers and climbers. It was the second fatal bear attack in the state in just a few weeks. For over a century, Arkansas had no deadly bear encounters. Then, two happened almost back to back. These weren't deep wilderness attacks. They were in areas where people feel safe. Places families go camping every summer. It raised a chilling question. Are bears changing their behavior? Or have we changed ours? Then just weeks later, news broke out of Yellowstone National Park. A hiker was attacked on the Turbid Lake Trail and had to be hospitalized. Rangers quickly closed the area, warning visitors that this is still grizzly bear country and that people need to stay alert. That wasn't even an isolated event either. Across the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, the vast wilderness spreading across Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, 2025 is on track to be the highest number of grizzly deaths in recent memory. Most of those bears died because of people, hit by cars, shot in self-defense, or removed by wildlife officers. It's a sign that humans and grizzly bears are running into each other more often than ever before. And it's not just happening in places famous for bears. Down in Texas, wildlife officials have recorded more than 500 black bear sightings since 2020. Some of those bears are wearing tracking collars, showing them moving into new counties, even places where they haven't been seen in over 100 years. To some people, it's an exciting return of a native species. To others, it's a warning that human-bear conflicts could rise in areas that aren't prepared for them. Across the Atlantic in Romania, scientists use DNA studies to estimate the brown bear population, and the results stunned experts. There may be as many as 13,000 bears, nearly double previous estimates. Along with that growth, thousands of bear-related emergency calls pour in every year. Towns that once saw a bear every few years now see them every few days. These stories, the deadly bear attacks in Arkansas, the trail closures in Yellowstone, the black bears reclaiming Texas, the booming populations in Europe, all point to the same reality. Encounters between people and bears are rising fast. If you mark these incidents on a map, clear patterns emerge. First is the Yellowstone region, home to some of the most iconic grizzly bears in the world. This ecosystem is where wilderness and people overlap every day. Hunters head into valleys where grizzlies are feeding before hibernation. Hikers pack the same trails the bears use. Tourists drive roads that cut through prime bear habitat. The result? A higher chance of encounters, and sometimes deadly ones. Next is the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. 100 years ago, hunting wiped out bears here. They were gone for decades, until wildlife agencies reintroduced black bears in the 1950s. The population has grown steadily ever since, but most encounters until recently were simple sightings: a bear in the distance, a paw print near a campsite. That changed this year. The sudden deadly bear attacks in Arkansas are rewriting what people thought they knew about the risks of camping and hiking in this region. Texas is another important part of the puzzle. Here, black bears are pushing back into places they once roamed freely. They're showing up on ranches, near deer feeders, even in backyards. Each sighting is a sign of recovery, but also a sign that humans and bears are on a collision course. And in Europe, the Carpathian Mountains stretch through Romania and Slovakia. This is where some of the world's densest bear populations live. As towns and roads expand deeper into these areas, encounters and conflicts rise. Across all these locations, one fact is clear: bears are showing up in places People didn't expect them to be. And that shift is forcing us to rethink how we live, camp, and explore the wild. So why is this happening? Why are bear attacks rising in places like Arkansas? Why are grizzly bears in Yellowstone dying in record numbers? Why are black bears returning to Texas? One reason is visibility. A decade ago, a bear sighting might never leave the local news. Today, a short video of a bear walking across a road can go viral in minutes. Every bear attack, every close call, every dramatic encounter gets shared online and seen by millions. It can feel like there's a sudden surge in incidents, even if the total number hasn't changed much. But visibility isn't the only factor. Populations themselves are growing. After centuries of hunting and habitat loss, both black bears and grizzly bears are slowly recovering in parts of their former range. As those populations rise, bears start exploring new territories, and those territories often overlap where people live, work, and vacation. Our behavior has changed too. More people are spending time outdoors than ever before. Camping, hiking, hunting, all of it has grown since the pandemic, and it hasn't slowed down. Most people in bear country means more chances for an encounter. Food is another big piece of the puzzle. In some years, natural food sources like berries and acorns fail. When that happens, bears look for food wherever they can find it. Trash cans, bird feeders, livestock feed, even game carcasses left by hunters. That brings them closer to people, and the risk of conflict rises. And finally, there's the human impact on bear populations. In the Yellowstone area, most grizzly bear deaths each year are caused by humans, from vehicle strikes to self-defense shootings. Those numbers don't just show how bears die. They show how often bears and people now occupy the same place. To understand what's happening now, it helps to look back. For most of history, bears were everywhere. Black bears once roamed nearly every forested part of North America. Grizzly bears ranged from California to the Great Plains. But as settlers pushed west, bears were hunted, trapped, and driven for much of their range. By the early 1900s, they were gone from huge parts of the continent. The comeback we're seeing now, black bears returning to Arkansas and Texas, grizzly bears thriving again in Yellowstone, is, in many ways, what conservationists hope for. It's proof that recovery is possible. It's proof that wild nature can return. But recovery also brings challenges. In Romania, rising bear numbers have sparked debates about culling and relocation. In Montana and Wyoming, people argue whether grizzly bears should be hunted again. In Texas, ranchers worry about livestock losses, and black bears move back in. Each of these debates raises the same question. How do we live with large wild animals in a human-dominated world? The truth is, bear attacks are still rare. Millions of people visit Yellowstone, camp in Arkansas, and hike through bear country every year without having a dangerous encounter. Most bears want nothing to do with us. They avoid people when they can. But coexistence takes effort. In grizzly bear country, it means carrying bear spray and knowing how to use it. It means making noise on the trail so you don't surprise a bear. It means storing your food properly and never leaving garbage behind. In black bear country, it means locking up trash, removing bird feeders in the fall, and giving bears space to move on. It means understanding that bears are wild animals, not pests or pets. These simple steps don't just protect us, they protect bears too, because every time a bear becomes used to people, it's likely to get into trouble, and too often that ends with the bear being killed. So are we just hearing about more bear attacks because cameras are everywhere, or is it something deeper happening? The answer is both. Yes, we can see more now because we share more. Every sighting, every close call, every dramatic story spreads faster than ever before. But the rise in encounters is real too. Bears are recovering. They're expanding their range. And we're spending more time in their world. The real story here isn't about fear. It's about change, about the return of wildness to places that lost it long ago. It's about the challenge of sharing the land with black bears and grizzly bears again. And it's about the choices we make next. If we act with care and respect, rising encounters don't have to mean rising danger. They can mean something far better, that the wild is still alive and that we're learning how to live alongside it again. The wild is changing, and how we respond matters. If this story got you thinking about how we share the land with black bears and grizzly bears, tell me in the comments. Would you still camp in bear country knowing encounters are on the rise? I read every response, And if you want more stories like this, from breaking wildfire news to hidden history and cinematic outdoor adventures, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. I'm Patrick, and this is LoveLeigh Adventures, where we deep dive into the wild places that still shape our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.